All right, hope this one comes through. Last video I was doing, it ended up cutting off because I had my charger, and I got this 2.5-year-old Samsung phone that doesn't like to be plugged in and take video and run multiple applications at the same time. So quick sales point. Goes by the topic of certain emotions. I don't know what the exact topic is, but it's along these lines. Watch your emotions because they have some common denominators. Okay. Quick story. Okay. So I like to teach is these parables, just like Jesus, right? We got a scenario where I'm sitting in the office with my acquisitions manager. My acquisitions manager takes a call on a contract. It's a seller that he met with yesterday. Okay, so one day ago he met with this seller, and there was confusion. I won't get into the whole story of the confusion, but one of the things that happened at that house was that there were 5 people, not the decision makers. Okay, this is an elderly seller, and then her kid, her son, his wife, and then 3 other unknown people in this house. So we got a total of 5 that are spouting off things that come to mind. They can't control themselves, and they start spouting off things in conversation that they really don't have a full understanding of what's going on. So there's confusion at play. That's the one takeaway here. So I'm listening to this phone call that my acquisitions manager got. He ends up, the guy's talking loud enough on the phone where you can hear him. And I'm following along with the conversation. My acquisitions guy, he's very disciplined. He's very good at what he does. Okay. Wouldn't be part of the team if he wasn't. But he's starting to get flustered. And to the point where you're flustered, where your voice starts to crack a little bit. I'm guilty. Absolutely. It happens to me when I get flustered. And then I start saying stupid things like, I'll buy you this. Just make the problem go away. Because that's a people pleaser, right? But you got to reel that in. The story's not about that. It's about this. He's starting to get a little flustered. And then they say they want to cancel the contract. But there was also some talk about money going around there, which another portion of the confusion came in with their not knowing what the payoff was of the house. Okay, payoff is $68,000. I want to sell it for $70,000. We'll try to get $75,000, they say. Now, not coming from a position of strength in negotiating, they didn't say we need $75,000. Put it on the contract. Why don't you just try to get it? Okay. Meanwhile, they're stewing on that number. Man, what if we could get another $5,000 out of this deal? What if we, as a family, could walk away with $7,000? So here's where I get to the loop. I'm going to call it that. It's a loop of bad decision making that has a base in fear. Okay? Let's talk about the negative things working against these people in their situation. You've got fear. Okay? Now, the reason why I say fear is because there's confusion. And when there's confusion, there's typically fear. Okay? And then you've got miscommunication. There's all this stuff that's going on. And now this guy becomes angry, which is another, call it number 4, that we're going to call it in this video. So you got this spirit of confusion that's going to stir up all this strife. And I can go on and on about this. But it ultimately boils down to this. It's the language of sales. Okay? Let's see if that helps me at all. There you go. The language of sales. Okay? And the question is, what does the flow chart have to say about somebody who's afraid of something or confused? How do you help these people through that process? Okay? One thing that I found, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to make a 10-minute video. I'm going to stop it at around 6. If somebody is confused or fearful, okay, or there's, a lot of that stuff going on, one of the best things you can do for yourself and for the seller is to communicate with them on a very regular basis, okay? So the whole communicate once a week, once you have your listing, this goes for retail, this goes for wholesale and investment properties, because people are the same across the board, okay? If somebody's fearful, you communicate. You maybe over communicate with them, okay? Make sure their questions are answered. That way the fear's not going to get, creep in, because these people are thinking like, well, what if I can't do this? What if I can't? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? Never mind the fact that I don't know why they're selling, but, whatever's going on in their head. And, so people, they get an idea and they dwell on it, and then they call you hot and heavy the next morning, and then it's on. Now you got to figure out ways. Now, I've seen deals like this blow apart, and it's either, well, there was a guy, from life that would always say, like, hey, it's 50-50 chance, man. This deal either it blows up or it doesn't. And that's the truth of it, and if you don't get, we've got so many deals in the pipeline right now. My acquisitions manager is batting 1,000. I'm like, you're bound to have, and I'm not doom thinking, like some deals fall apart. You can't bat 1,000. It'd be great if we could. And I'll absolutely receive it if it comes along, but sometimes deals fall apart. And right now we're at that point right now where we just got fired. But I just also made a phone call to the seller, and I said, hey, would like to talk to you. And he's like, I'm on another call right now. I'm like, cool, man. And I'm me, right? I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm me when I'm on these phone calls. I'm like, cool, man, I'll give you a call back here in a little bit. But I did introduce myself, and I took the first step to break down that wall that's been built up. And who knows where it's going to go, okay? But I'm going to give it a shot, because at the very end of the day, these people were considering selling in the first place. And why are they not considering selling? Because some confusion got in the way? For those of you that stuck around to the end of the video, I hope you get something out of this. I really do. Because it's not just something I get on the phone and I'm like, oh, I'm going to ramble. Hopefully it makes sense, right? Here I am. It makes sense in my head. It's a matter of, did I communicate it properly? But the language of sales, we all got something to learn.